Currently, I'm first in line on the Canon C50 pre-order list at Film Tools in Burbank, and I wanted to take some time real quick while I had to work to talk about some of the reasons why I pulled the trigger on this camera. We have a 7.1K full frame, 3x2 open gate capable, full readout of the sensor camera with dual base ISO 800, 6400. I find the 6400 more beneficial to my workflow than the 32 and the 12,800 that the C80 and C400 sports, but I was thoroughly impressed by that camera, and I'm actually going to do some videos this weekend with the C80 as I have it on loan from Canon to test out. Shout out to them because they just want to get some feedback, and they always use the information from the customers to kind of find out what improvements they can make. But staying on topic with the Canon C50, we also have full HDMI inputs, and XLR inputs in the top handle. The top handle is already being recognized as one of the best top handles out. Now, I haven't had my hands on it, but only for a split second. It is a phenomenal top handle. With that being said, you can always strip it down, get the full compact flexibility of the camera. A lot of people are comparing it to the FX3. Understandably so, with the low light capabilities, a small compact cinema camera, but I just feel like it does a disadvantage to compare it completely and just say it's the FX3 killer. Shout out to Sony for creating a camera that is still very valuable in today's day and age. And I hear the other notion of like, oh, it's a Canon 4 years to kind of compete with the FX3. I think that's a wrong way to look at it. No one ever want to compare their image sensor to the Canon C500 Mark II because that sensor still competes with all the big boys right now. Cameras that are 4 times, if not 5 times its price. You don't see any test videos. And the 1 or 2 test videos you've seen with the Venice 2 and the Venice 1, the C500 did more than hold its own against those cameras. No one is saying, hey, the C500 Mark II is the V-Raptor killer or the Venice killer. Great camera is a great camera. We all got different pockets, financially, budgets. We all have already invested in other gear. So it's about finding the right camera for you and your use case right now. And staying on topic of the C50 is that other thing that I'm hearing about, it doesn't have IBIS. Now, I do love IBIS. I'm shooting on the Canon R6 Mark II, which has 5-axis image stabilization. I have the 15 RF 15-35 f2.8 IS L series lens mounted to it, so I get a stabilized image and I get coordinated stabilization up to 7 stops. Now, I don't get why the camera's 5, the lens is 3, and it's coordinated 7. It is what it is, but I know it's a smooth shot, and I wanted to do this video on the car driving so you can kind of see the smoothness of it. With that being said, somebody always calling when you're doing a video. With that being said, true cinema is trying to have as much creative control over your image as possible. That's why RAW is amazing. That's why Open Gate is amazing. Those are things that are giving you the most control over your image. So when you get into post-production, you can do whatever you want with it, right? Color grading, so Red for years, 16-bit RAW, that is amazing. Blackmagic, which was the first one to do 4K RAW for under 4K, that opened up the door for a lot of camera manufacturers to have to compete and allow us as independent filmmakers, who, budgets is not where the big boys are at, to be able to kind of start to play in that field. We can get DaVinci Resolve and start to play around with, 12-bit, 10-bit, or 16-bit Red RAW codecs and see how much flexibility we get out of post-production with the color image. But with that being said, IBIS never really turns off. It's designed for the sensor to be moving so you can get a stabilized shot. Certain Canon cameras, if you're open wide enough, you're going to see the corner wobbles. Now, I'm pulled in right now to an 18 millimeter. You might see the wobbles every now and then when the camera's focusing, but for me, we can use something like the DJI RS3 Pro, and I said RS3 Pro because you could save money, or you could use the 4, the new one, because this is such a compact camera, right? It's not like with a bigger body like the C70, the more you start to rig onto it, a monitor weighs down a motor, then you got to get a stronger gimbal, and then your setup get a little bit bigger. This is what we always wanted in the Canon R5C. This is what we always wanted in the 1DC, which is you get flexibility of optionable codecs to be able to shoot at a manageable file. Right now, if you're shooting Open Gate, yes, it's like 1,700 megabytes per second, but it's 7.1K RAW. When I was shooting my C500 Mark II, originally before they added the Cinema Raw lights, the different flavors of it, which is LT, standard, and full Cinema Light Raw, 32 minutes was a 512 card would give me 32 minutes of record time because it was 2.1 gigabytes per second. Now, the image was beautiful, and I had a lot of flexibility in post-production, but sometimes you don't need that much, right? It's about finding the right balance of what you want to do creatively and be able to manage financially. You know what I mean? Ultimately, that's where it's at. Unless you hit lotto and money is not an issue, then get the best camera that you can get. But there's a lot of things that go into it because there's no such thing as the perfect camera. It's just really about finding what is the perfect camera for your situation and your setup. And this is the reason why when I look at all the features that the Canon C50 brings to the table, it is pretty phenomenal of what we're gonna have as filmmakers. We're gonna have a true cinema camera. And yes, it doesn't have built-in ND filters. Once again, that's something else we're spoiled by with the C70, the C80, C400, ever since the days of the C100 mark. So we have great companies like Polar Pro where you could put the ND filter on the lens and you could buy step-up rings and all these other different things. And Canon is coming out with VCM lenses, and another complaint is about not opening up to third party. Canon is making phenomenal lenses for the RF mount. Even Red, who could have chose any other camera manufacturer mount, chose RF mount. So that's something to take into consideration. So I guess I'm doing this video because I heard a lot of chatter about the IBIS. It's not a big deal. I heard about not opening up to third parties. Well, Red thought RF was good enough, and Canon is continuously supplying us with more and more options on the RF mount lens. And you can always use adapter to use cinema lens and hook it up. So if you're really talking about third-party lenses, what you're really talking about third-party lenses that have autofocusing. And if Canon want to protect this image, by all means, let them protect the image. Like, they putting the recipe together. They understand how the cameras work. They've been in the game for a long time. You know what I mean? They still one of the kings when it comes to photo. And shout out to all the camera manufacturers, Panasonic, Blackmagic, Nikon, and Red collaboration. The Z1R looks very, very promising. There's no need to hate on one camera to make you feel better about your purchase. Ultimately, it's about what you need for your work and finding out what camera do you want to invest in to get your 10,000 hours in. For me, as someone that has multiple C-series cameras, this is going to be a great addition to me. If you're someone that already has Sony or Red, you know, the Nikon Z1R, it could be a phenomenal addition to what you're doing. You know, so ultimately, I'm on a pre-order list because this is going to be a camera that, as I live in Los Angeles and I build out, you know, projects and shoot projects, I am comfortable using my C500 as the camera that's going to be on sticks, shooting raw with that camera, using CF Express, and C50 is going to use CF Express, and then I can have my C50 to take, you know, covert shots and establishing shots and go around LA and no one look at it and put my movie together. So I've been shooting enough to understand what this camera is going to go right. It's going to be my hybrid A-B camera, right? In certain situations, the C500 Mark II will be the A camera, and in certain situations, because I got 7.1K RAW and I have a small compact size, I can do car mount and a lot of other different things, hook it up to a drone, it's going to be an A and a B camera, you know? But ultimately, I'm excited about what's coming out of Canon. I'm excited about what's coming from the other manufacturers as well. And as a Canon shooter, as what I have, I'm not brand loyal, I'm content loyal. The Canon C50, for all the bells and whistles and everything it brings to the table, is something that is hard to overlook. And I'm happy to have this in my kit and be on the first on the pre-order list, you know, for film tools in Burbank. And when I get that camera, trust me, I'm gonna put it through the paces. I'm already working on the script and the project, and we're gonna see what we get out of it. So I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. Are you going to put it in your pre-order list or some other options? I just like a good conversation because I think it educates the people that might be watching and helps people make better informed decisions. With that being said, as always, stay creative, be courageous, and get on your grind.